welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. My name is Ryan Doze. I am your host. Today, we have some guests coming on the show to talk about more recent comics in Thor's history. We are going to be breaking down the first storyline in the current run of Thor that started all the way back in 2020. So when the world was falling apart, Thor comics were coming out, and the creative team that we're going to talk about today features two creators that I just absolutely love, writer Donny Cates and artist Nick Klein, who have been killing it on this book for a while now. They began their Thor run with a fantastic storyline called The Devourer King. So I've been wanting to talk about this arc for a long time, and I knew when we were going to talk about this story, we had to do it big, we had to do it grand. So I brought in not one guest but two guests, the duo that run Apollo City Comics, a fantastic podcast. Brandon stopped by, and we're actually going to talk with them over the next few weeks about this arc, The Devourer King, from Donny Cates and Nick Klein. It is going to be an awesome time. We have part one for you today. Just like a character that we're going to talk about later on, Galactus, we have offered you this show to consume in all of its goodness. It is going to be a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Before we start that conversation, I just want to remind you all to go and support the show in some simple ways. Go rate, review, and subscribe to the show wherever you're listening today. And go and support our guests today. Go search Apollo City Comics on your podcast app, on Instagram. Go search for them, follow them, like their stuff, share their stuff. They put out some amazing episodes. They've just done some recent stuff on Venom since the Venom movie has just come out. They've done a lot of things that I really feel are worth your time. So go support them and you will not be disappointed. I promise. They do some great stuff over on their show. But we are here for our show today. We are going to be joined by them in just a moment. We are about to break down some of the best comics that I've read in the last few years. And I know we've been doing a lot of throwback stuff lately, so we're jumping ahead from the 60s all the way to the 2020s. And if you're a fan of old comics, fantastic. We're going to have more throwback stuff for you coming up soon. Between now and the end of the year, we will have more throwback stuff. But we're going to jump ahead for the time being. In the month of November, we're going to cover some of just the best comics that have been produced in the last few years. And it starts with this storyline, The Devourer King, from Donny Cates and Nick Klein. Let's go. Okay, listeners, welcome to this week's episode of Across the Bifrost. I am so excited to have another set of guests in here on the show to talk about Thor comics, and we are jumping forward. We're jumping forward to the current run of the Mighty Thor, and I want to introduce the guys from Apollo City Comics. Brandon and Brandon, introduce yourselves. Tell us about your podcast, and then let's talk some Thor comics.
I'm Brandon from Apollo City. It's so weird. We were just right. Jumping on the show, like
you guys are so used to being the hosts. So
yeah,
the
and that's funny.
turned.
We start our show off being like, "I'm Brandon,"
and I'm Brandon.
So it's just like awkward. But hi, thank you for having us on. We're so hyped and excited to hang out with you tonight. If anyone has ever listened to Apollo City Comics, then we're big Donny Cates. Oh wait, did we announce it? Yeah, we did.
Believe me, we will educate people so much on Donny's work tonight. So we're big Donny Cates fans. You'll find out what that means in a little bit.
Oh yeah, Donny Cates is kind of like the foundation of Brandon and I's relationship podcast wise.
It's crazy. It's just weird synchronicity. Like Brandon's first episode in Apollo, it feels like years ago because we've done so much together. Was of the first Venom run he was doing, issues 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was pitching to him, like, hey man, would you want to come to the show? Just choose a comic, whatever you like. I'll read it and we'll do it together. And he's like, what about Venom by Donny Cates? And I just got that hardcover. And I was just like, fuck yeah, Venom by Donny. Can we cuss on the show? I'm not too sure. I'm so sorry.
I just did it.
Honestly, I'll just put the explicit tag on it, and people can do with it what they want.
All right, cool. Yeah, it'll slip.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm from Texas. I'm in El
Okay.
Paso, Texas, and Brandon's over in crazy San Francisco, California. We're like on different sides of the country. Where are you residing at the moment?
Oh, I'll do you one better. I am in the middle of Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
We are spread across the country.
Yeah, we are across this country. Yeah.
We need the Bifrost Bridge to visit each other. That's the only way.
Yeah, it would take that.
Yeah. The thing I was gonna say though about Donny Cates that's hilarious is that I always give one of my friends a shout out because I'll be honest, I had no idea who that guy was 6 months before Venom came out. I want to preface with that real quick that like I literally was like, who's Donny Cates? And my friend was like, he's a dope writer. You got to read what's that series he did? God
Country.
God Country.
Yes.
Yeah. And Baby Teeth and all that. And I just want to preface that like I am a recent Donny Cates fan, real quick. It just you know, I found out about him because Venom got announced, and then my friend was like, it's gonna be dope. I don't read Venom, but it's gonna be dope. And I'm like, all right. And then I read it and I was like, this shit's dope. But I just want to start with that.
I don't know if we've discussed that before. What was your first Donny Cates?
What was my first introduction to Donny Cates? So honestly, it was we talked a little bit about this off the recording, but I was a humongous Jason Aaron Thor fan. I mean, Jason Aaron is to this day. I mean, I love Donny Cates' approach to the character, and we're gonna dissect that, you know, to no end. But I loved Jason Aaron's run of Thor, and then when I heard that after War of the Realms he was going to step down, I was like, well, who's the new guy? And it was Donny Cates. And I was like, okay. I had heard that he had written Venom, and I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan in the world. Like I enjoy Spider-Man comics, but Spider-Man to me is kind of like he's the cool popular kid at school, and Thor was kind of the like, you know, oh, he's there. You know, but
yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
he's the guy on the football team that does really good, but no one pays attention to him.
Like, you know, he's a really great offensive lineman. You know, he's super important, but maybe not as praised. Nobody
wants the autograph.
He made him so indispensable, and I was like, okay, well, Thor's been built up, you know, from some okay runs. What's next? So I dug into some of Donny Cates' Venom stuff, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Because I didn't care about Venom.
Yeah.
Like I'll say that too.
Like, nobody did. I'm not. Whoever says that, they're lying.
I care about Venom now, and it's because of Donny Cates.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Well,
and it's really hard to look at, you know, anything related to the symbiotes and, you know, Null, the god of symbiotes. It's really difficult to look at anything related to Venom now and not see Donny Cates' stamp of identity on it, because he's such a dark guy. He's got so much weird humor. I mean, he is a Instagram follow gold. He's gold.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So
yeah,
I think I was just drawn to the guy himself. And then when he started, you know, these first 6 issues, it's like they grab you, and he tells you exactly who his Thor is in the first issue.
Yes. Brilliant stuff, dude. That's kind of, I've been a Donny Cates fan since like 2016. It was my first Comic-Con, and it was Thursday night. My very first panel I went to, my first day at Comic-Con, was the heavy metal panel. And that was the same time Grant Morrison was taking over as editor-in-chief. And I went there strictly because like I might have a chance to fucking see and meet Grant Morrison. And I went there, and of course I was just orgasming about Grant Morrison. And then, you know, they're announcing everyone else. Kevin Eastman was there, and then Donny Cates, like this new hotshot writer. Donny Cates, we have him writing this stuff, and they were kind of picking on him and whatnot, like, because I guess he had just written God Country and it did really well. But he was then going to write a Tomahawk for heavy metal. And that's when they announced it. I saw some imagery. I heard the story about how that's his tattoo artist over in Austin, and they just decided to make a book together. And the following year, I got to meet him at New York Comic-Con, and I hung, and he wasn't like, there was no lines. It wasn't anything. He wasn't like Donny.
He wasn't Donny Cates yet.
Yeah, it was 2017. He was kind of just still kind of climbing those ranks. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, Donny, like I had this oversized thing of a tomahawk. And I was like, dude, can you sign it? Maybe throw on, the tomahawk and whatnot, like the axe. And he's like, I can't do the axe, but I could do the God Country sword. And I was like, oh, dude, that'd be fucking sick. Just do it. Like throw whatever you want. And he signed, and we were talking for a minute. I told him I was from Texas, from El Paso, and he's in Austin. And he put this whole Texas rules thing on it. And then Nick Darrington came up to Donnie, and then me, him, and Nick Darrington hung out for like 30 minutes and
Oh,
just
that's
like
awesome.
vibed and talked. And this whole time I was just like, dear God, what is happening right now? And other than that, I've met Donnie like in passing. I never got to see him at other conventions. But I do have a cool picture. He's walking through the convention hall at San Diego, and me and my fiance, we saw him. We're like, hey, I was like, you need to meet Donny Cates. I was like, let's go say hi. And we snap pictures with him real fast. And
oh man,
that's awesome.
I've been a fan.
It's always awesome when like comic creator, I always freak out about this stuff, but it's always great when they can give you the time and they like spend that time. It's like when I met Kevin Eastman, like there wasn't really a line, and like I was like, oh my God, Kevin Eastman is right in front of me, and he was there for Heavy Metal, and I knew he gets this all the time, but I was like, can you sign my Ninja Turtles book?
Yeah.
And you know what,
for those across the Bifrost listeners that don't know, Kevin Eastman he was a co-creator on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly. And I had my Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #3 or volume 3 because he drew in that book. And I got that confirmed by him. I was like, did you like scan older pictures of like, old Turtles comics? He's like, nah, I drew that for the issue. And I was like, oh my God, will you sign this? And he even signed it. He put my name on it, and he drew a turtle. And it's just like he talked to me, and we of course did some turtle talk, and
it's cool. Like some of these people, comic book creators, the more I've dealt with my handful of like, okay, that wasn't the coolest experience, but there's so many of them. They're just like great people, and it's cool like meeting them and then loving their work. I mean, that's just important. You know what I mean? Like you can meet someone that's great and then be like, that's all right. But dude, I've always wanted to get into Thor. I have. I like Norse mythology. I get into all that stuff. I mean, God of War was definitely convincing for all of us at that point. But I kept on trying to find the right run, and the Jason Aaron stuff. I have the complete collections, those like trade back, and I'm collecting those right now. But it's like I was trying to find another way in because it was good, but it was dense and it was real. You have to be ready for Jason Aaron's Thor. Heads up for those.
It's a lot.
Yeah, honestly, I Now, this is not said to scare anybody away from reading Jason Aaron's Thor, but I almost had to approach it the way that I've approached things like Tolkien. Because it like the on the surface level, the stories are fantastic. If you were to make a Jason Aaron and Thor movie, which they're about to do, essentially, it would make total sense and it would be accessible. But if you wanted to plumb the depths of it, it would take a while. Which I think is what it's such a testament to his run. And a no shame segue, when Donny Cates comes on to write Thor, he almost had to start like he had to almost disassociate himself with a lot of the minutia. He had to reinvent the character. Like, War of the Realms happened, Thor is king, okay, moving on.
It wasn't trying to absorb all this past history and rephrase it and catch you up on the last decade of this amazing run. It was just like, this is like the starting point. Like, this is a great, if anyone's trying to get into Thor, just starting with this issue, I feel like you can do it and be like, all right, I dig this. Like, I don't need to know much, but this is giving me enough to know that I'm interested.
You will know at the end of this first issue if you like this new Thor. It will not take long. But guys, you ready to jump in?
Oh hell yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I did a skosh of research, and this run is in its I believe the 18th or 19th issue will come out the month that our chat will. So it's not that long in the tooth already, but this came out, it was released in January of 2020. So the year that the world went to crap, great comics were still being made. So Donny Cates is joined on this debut issue with one of my favorite Thor artists, Nick Klein.
Yes.
Nick Klein, also a great follow on social media and Instagram. He does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So he's even done like live drawings of his Thor covers, and he's a great follow. I believe he's over in Europe. He's a great international talent that Marvel has on board, but he really sets his art style is set apart from like Assad Ribic, Russell Dodderman.
Yeah, Assad. That's exactly who I associate him with. That's cool that you said him.
Yeah. So there have been some phenomenal artists on Thor in the last decade, and Nick Klein is definitely on the higher end of that list. But they're the main creative team. And they've been the main creative team for most of this current run. There's been a few issues here and there where Nick Klein has bowed out and done some other stuff, but he's back on the book now currently, I believe. But
he does a lot with Rick Remender. He does Scumbag, right, Brandon? I want to say he did Scumbag in Seven to Eternity or something.
There's been like Seven to Eternity was Jerome Pena.
Oh.
Scumbag has had like 3 artists, one being the main one. I'd have to double check.
Or maybe he does covers or something. I know he does a lot of covers in general. Nick is his arsenal is insane, and honestly, his covers for Thor are my favorite so far.
Yeah, and honestly, so for those of you listening, this just for fans of my show, and just so you know, like it sounds like a lot right now, because like we're hitting you with names that maybe you never heard of. These are creators that honestly I didn't know of until a few years ago, who I've gone back and I've like, okay, Donny Cates wrote Venom. I got to go back and read Venom. Oh my gosh, Donny Cates, he did. I don't have time to go into all this. He did The King in Black recently with Ryan Stegman for Marvel. Some of the most nonstop just craziness.
I loved it. I love Noel. Noel's.
I wish we had time to talk King and Black. But these creators, like they're recent to me. So like if you hear a name that you don't necessarily know, go search them out. Kind of dig into their creative history, and then you'll maybe be able to understand why we get so hyped for just mentioning names.
I will go on record saying, Ryan Stegman has probably drawn one of the best Spider-Man recently. In the Absolute Carnage arc, his Spider-Man and the way he does like the eyes in particular, Venom as well. But I'm just gonna say, like, if that's not reassuring enough, that his version of Spider-Man is dope.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
there it is.
Man,
I'm telling you, the eyes.
Yeah, this is never see video, but like I pulled out my copy of Absolute Carnage, was just ready to go.
Nice.
You knew.
I knew. So jumping into this first issue, January of 2020, the entire the Jason Aaron era of Thor is over. He hands off his Thor titles to up and coming creators like Donny Cates and Nick Klein, and it's a new age for Thor. Thor is now king of Asgard. The War of the Realms is over, and we're left. We get a whole brand new adventure. And the first few pages is Mjolnir being thrown through the 10 realms. I always forget there's a 10th realm now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
He's throwing the hammer through all 10 realms, and he lands it on Earth right in front of Iron Man. And it's just one throw, one shot, and then he and Thor and Sif have this conversation about what needs to happen now that he's the king. And Tony, when the hammer goes back to Thor, Tony has written the message, "Nice shot, enjoy your retirement." So that's the opening, kind of the cold open of this new era of Thor.
Not to mention it obliterates the brains of this monster the Avengers are fighting.
Yeah.
Oh man. The coloring for this is one of my favorites. I love how, like, for the atmosphere you get those purples and blues. Like, it's so dreamy, and it's mixed with that rainbow that just pops out of it. And I
Mm.
love how they still have that Kirby like shift, like the way it goes. And man, just
You could thank Matthew Wilson for that.
oh really?
Yeah,
Oh.
color artist Matthew Wilson.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
there you go. Yeah,
Th-
it
so-
sets a tone and a vibe for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brandon, you mentioning Matthew Wilson reminds me of another person on the creative team that I feel like goes underappreciated in modern Thor comics is Will Moss. Will Moss has been the editor on Thor for ever. Like
Really?
Since their career
he was-
started.
he was the editor, I believe, at least since the beginning of the Jason Aaron run. I mean, someone can fact check me on that and probably prove me wrong. But Will Moss has been, he's been the one kind of making sure that all of this is, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna fact check you right now.
Yeah, go right ahead. I have zero problem being proved wrong. But Will Moss is the editor on this, and it's just got such a great a great creative team. Joe Sabino is the letterer, and he's lettered Thor for a while. Am I right or am I wrong, Brandon?
I'm seeing like I'm not seeing the editor special projects, no, assistant editor, collection editor. It's not showing me the editor right off the bat in the front.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's
perfectly fine.
editors.
Lauren.
Oh yeah, Will Moss, editor. Oh, you're looking at the Jason Aaron. Sorry.
Yeah. Lauren Sankovic. That's what
Okay.
it says here. I'm not too sure when Will jumped on though. But I mean, hey, that's just one of those things we have to
Hey, yeah.
discover.
Yeah, there's people tend to forget, like, it may be Jason Aaron's like run,
Mhm.
but people tend to forget that, like, comics require a whole village to fucking
Put
together.
make them. Like, I feel like there's so much disrespect we've unintentionally or like given by not mentioning color artists, cover artists, editors, letterers, and
Inkers.
inkers.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's just-
I think editors is the one thing we do overlook on Apollo. We always talk about lettering and we always talk about color artists, but you're the first
Mhm.
person I've ever been on a show with to really
mention the
highlight the
editor.
editor. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
when it comes to novels, right? Like, or any book, the editor is the
Yeah.
one that kind of saves it. Like,
Yeah.
you could write the whole book, but if it looks like shit, if you don't
Yeah.
have someone calling you out, you're not going to be able to like fix it up.
Yeah, if it doesn't read well, if it doesn't flow well,
Mhm.
I recently, about a month ago or so, I had a former Marvel editor on my show who had edited Thor back in the 80s, and I was like,
Nice.
how would you describe, his name's Mike Rockwitz, and he I said, how would you describe the role of an editor? He's like, I'm basically like a baseball manager. Like, I put people in the right position to win.
there you
Yeah,
go.
that makes
I'm
sense.
like,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
So
Yeah.
So if you put together a winning comic, you are, that's why it's a creative team, not a creative, solo act.
Yeah,
Unless
there
you
you
do
go.
everything yourself somehow, of course.
Yeah, the
Jeff
creative-
Lemire.
Or if you're like, what's his name, Stefan Sejic, or however you pronounce his name, like,
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, right. That's an overlooked one.
I always mispronounce his name, like I always do with many names, but he literally does everything in his books.
that, I mean, that would be incredible. I know, like, back for Thor reference, Walt Simonson did his art and his writing,
Yeah.
but like,
that was good stuff.
but then eventually he had to hand over his art stuff because he was putting together these epics every month, and it was too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the task at hand.
Yeah.
We jump in with this cold open, and Thor is at an impasse. Taking on the mantle of All Father. He has he has a little bit of conversation with Volstagg. Volstagg, for listeners of Across the Bifrost, Volstagg is my favorite Thor supporting character.
Nice.
I believe he's the funniest Marvel character. Fight me, Spider-Man fans.
There you go.
So I mean, Volstagg he's my be all end all, and so I love when he shows up in books. And then he has an interesting interaction with Loki. Loki shows up in the throne room, and Thor, a very stark juxtaposition between the Silver Age, Bronze Age Thor, who kind of plays along with Thor's trickery.
Uh-huh.
This is a no nonsense Thor. This Thor has no time for Loki's shenanigans at all.
I can see that right off the bat. Yeah.
And Loki addresses something with Thor that is going to be a constant up until even the most recent issue of Thor, number 18, I believe. The hammer is starting to do this odd thing where it's normal powers of like, only those who are worthy can carry the hammer of Thor. It doesn't always apply. And even Loki is able to stop the hammer, there's this weird thing going on with the hammer, and Thor doesn't exactly know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's getting heavy on him.
It's getting heavier.
Like, why can't I lift it? Like, why am I? He grunts when he picks it up, and then Loki's just like, you've never grunted when you picked that up before. Like, and I love that attention to detail right there with Loki.
And I don't mean to belabor the point too much in this first issue, but this first issue sets the table for so many different things. That when Thor kind of, in a brotherly way, he threatens Loki with the hammer, and he says, "I am the All-Father now, little brother, clothed in the power that comes with the title. You would do well to remember that." He's not Odin.
No,
he's not Odin.
No,
this is a Thor again who has little time for Loki's for his shit, to be honest.
And he's still trying to like accept, and he's also, right after that, he's like talking about the speech he has to give in front of everyone. Like all these scenes are building up that he's struggling to accept his position as a king, and his like his owning the throne, his father not being there. And there's a line, I think it's after the next scene, which I know we're gonna pause and like embellish.
The next scene is a big one.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. But there's a line that summed up the entire book to me. I don't know if it was already happened, but what is a king to a god? And I feel like that sums up the entire first arc of the Thor run. Like, what is a king to a god? Like, he's already had all this and more for, centuries. And he's just like, well, now I guess I'm running it, but
yeah, that's. I guess that line hadn't really hit me as much as you saying it right there, Brandon. Like, being a king is almost like child's play to Thor, or at least it should be.
Exactly. Yeah, from commanding and conquering to like, I'm gonna rule. Like, no.
Well, Thor was kind of basically like overall like a warrior, right? That's what it comes down to. Like, it's kind of like that whole thing. It kind of transcends the character, and it gets a little bit more almost like political, because you could be like a stoic leader or courageous warrior and lead battle or whatever, but when it comes to like politics, being a king or whatever it may be, it's a different type of, I guess you could say like challenge for someone like him. Like he could, Thor could literally fight. I think there's something mentioned, a little bit of a spoiler, like he fought for like a year straight or something like that.
Oh yeah.
A
year is like a minute, or something like that. Time is just not relative to an immortal.
And like, he could do that, but like commanding Asgard, it's like, it's taxing. And that kind of transcends into a point where like, you could be like the ultimate like soldier or warrior, but once you're like a politician or a leader or some sort of like king or monarch or whatever, it's like, it could be the hardest thing for you. It could be taxing.
So, very brief aside to a very interesting, an interesting what if comic that I think speaks to the same type of situation. There's a what if comic from I believe it's the 80s, where the main question is, what if Captain America was president?
Oh, wow, nice. Yeah.
We never think of him. We think of him as a leader, as a figurehead, as a warrior, kind of like how Thor is. He's the Prince of Asgard, but we never really think, oh, right, eventually he has to become king.
Yeah.
Because he's been the heir apparent to the throne for centuries, and now he's finally got it, and it's like, what do I do now?
And this is like a completely unique take on Thor, because I think in Norse mythology in general, Thor doesn't really become destined to be king, because technically Thor dies during Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the actual Ragnarok, not like the Marvel one, but
Not the
like
4 times it's happened in the Marvel
Not
universe.
Yeah.
the rebirth and the reincarnation, the rebirth and the reincarnation.
Yeah.
he dies fighting the serpent. I forget the name.
The world serpent. Yeah.
The world serpent. But like in Marvel, it's like
Endgame.
you got to the point where he could be a king now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's that whole new fresh outlook on him that we
Yeah.
never see.
But I never thought of the Captain America thing, like being president. That's pretty trippy.
And that whole comic, you guys should go listen to it. I mean, read it. It's a fantastic, hypothetical.
Yeah.
He essentially he runs for president, he wins, and then he promises to unmask himself. And once he unmasks himself, he ceases to be Captain America. Basically, the thing that got him to the position, he now ceases to be.
Oh.
So
shit.
that's why it made me think of this, where it's like, for the longest time, Thor has been, the warrior of Asgard, and it's the thing that gets him to become king. But once he becomes king, he kind of ceases to be
Be
the
Thor.
man that he was before.
Yeah.
So all of that, being said, the next scene when I was reading this caught me so off guard.
This is what sold me. Like I turned the
I know,
page.
right?
I wanted to read it because it was Donny, and then I turned this 2-page splash of Galactus slamming down onto Asgard, and I was like, I'm in.
slamming Asgard.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, wrestling move like.
Thor is about to give this speech, and we see frigging planet-sized Galactus fall into the middle of Asgard, and with this big cracoom of he almost looks like an atomic bomb,
Yeah.
going off, and he hits the ground, and Thor immediately. It was almost like he was chomping at the bit for some kind of action. He immediately goes and he faces off with Galactus, and Galactus has some ominous challenge for Thor. Before Thor can hit him with the hammer, he says, "Stop! I came for help. You are the only one who can. The Star Plague, the Great Black Winter, is coming."
Yeah, I wanted to geek out about something before we go into that.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So maybe this is a trend I'm noticing, but if you go and read Donny Cates' Venom, and I feel like, I don't know how it works at Marvel, but I feel like maybe Donny Cates is purposely choosing these artists to work with, because if there's one thing I notice he loves to do in his books, at least with Marvel, and I think I noticed this in Cosmic Ghost Rider as well, he likes to use the like that comic, I don't want to say onomatopoeia, but like, the bam and pow and cracoom. Yeah. He gets an artist that somehow can integrate it into the scene where it's not like imposed on the panel like old school comics. It's just kind of blends in. Like, I know we don't have the video, but it just kind of blends in. Yeah, it's part of the artwork. Yeah. It blends in. Yeah. Like the same thing with Venom. There's this one thing in the first volume, the first 6 issues, where Venom like hits the ground when he's fighting Miles Morales, and there's this giant like crunch that comes out of the concrete. And I feel like that's something that's gone unappreciated with the artists that have worked with him, because this is obviously intended.
It gets that Will Eisner kind of feel. The way he approaches it. I'm sure he studied some scripts to know how to like get his artists to understand that too. That's cool. I never noticed that. Yeah,
like if you pay attention to that, it's pretty often in his books.
Yeah, no, I gotta watch out for that more. That's a good point out.
Yeah, it's a same thing with that scene we were talking about with the lightning striking.
Yeah, right in the background, the cocoon right there.
Yeah,
dare.
It's the first reference of this ominous black winter. And honestly, I don't know. I want to see how you guys feel about this. When I love classic villains so much, but a lot of these villains have been around for 40, 50 years. So whenever a new villain shows up or a new force to fight against shows up, I feel like either they're very understated or they're very well placed in their first issue. Like the Black Winter immediately felt important because the way that you introduce it is Galactus, a cosmic being of unimaginable power, being thrown. and like you said, being just cast, and he looks terrible. Like he looks like he's seen something horrifying.
His face has like those red blemishes, like he looks burnt, like almost like Deadpool, like type of burnt, Spawn burnt. You know what I mean? Like there's fear in his eyes.
Yeah, the Devourer of Worlds has fear in his eyes, and he's coming to Thor for help.
Yeah.
You know, that can't be ignored. And I think those are the, you know, these three panels or 3 pages that introduce Galactus into the story. Like Brandon said, they're the thing that grabs you, and they're like, oh, okay, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so new readers to Thor, maybe to this volume, like that is the hook. And the rest of the time you're saying like, okay, why is Galactus here, and what in the hell is the Black Winter?
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Oh no, I was asking. You're asking what we thought of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I really like, honestly, what you said is what convinced me. Like, I hadn't really considered that too much before reading it, when I should, honestly, as a writer. But his introduction is so heavy and cataclysmic. Like, you immediately know that this is like, okay, huge. And it huge in the proportion that it's bigger than Galactus. And I Donnie's always going in that direction. It's like, I would expect nothing less from him as a writer than to get the next big giant thing. And I feel like that's what he kind of excels at, is bringing back those big baddies, like the Beyonder, who was controlling all that time and matter. You have Dr. Doom, like you have these huge Annihilators, stuff like that, like these huge Marvel villains that are just like, you know, galaxy shattering. And he's just adding to that formula, and he's thinking like Kirby size big. And that's what all this is giant Kirby size, huge epicness. Even, you know, when you think about Galactus and stuff like that, actually, I don't know, this might be kind of a funny trip, but I just realized this as I'm speaking.
Okay.
But Galactus is here in that shitty Fantastic Four movie, Rise of Silver Surfer. Galactus was a black cloud. I wonder if Donnie was like, I'm gonna make that, but terrifying and really, I can do that better type of thing. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Silver Surfer deserved better.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just slip into his DMs and keep asking him until he responds.
Yeah, like, were you just trying to like a Galactus versus Galactus type of thing, and it turned into this? That's how ideas go sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Right. The when I read it the first time, I was like, okay, I never read Thor. I've only read the God Butcher as far as the first arc in the Jason Aaron one.
Same, yeah.
So you know,
so good. It's so good.
It is, and I wasn't sure if this was like an older thing from before, but it seemed to be a brand new Donny Cates thing.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like hooked. So yeah, when I first read it, I was like, this is dope. Second time, I was like, this is still dope, but now I'm starting to get some theories. The first thing I noticed, but so here's the thing with superhero books, and you know, this is me truly critiquing it as someone who loves and appreciates them. Obviously, you can only tell so many stories, just certain variations of those stories. And to me, the Black Winter kind of came off as like a variation of the Phoenix Force. Now, I say this, maybe I'm overthinking it. The Phoenix Force is this cosmic symbiotic entity that kind of like it like takes over someone because it needs a host, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Black Winter came off as like another cosmic entity that like is like, it doesn't really like, I guess, have a goal. It just needs to like feed or whatever.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like the opposite of the Phoenix Force. Now, maybe there's an idea if I ever magically wrote for Marvel I could use, or whoever listens to this is probably going to try to take it from me, but I said it first here if no one's thought of it. But basically, to me, the Phoenix Force seems like something that gives something power, and it needs to feed off that host, where the Black Winter needs a host, but it sucks that power out of it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Maybe, what if they come, maybe this is something Donny Cates is cooking up, and I've just read his mind, or maybe I'm just talking out my ass and I overthought it. What if these two things come from something even bigger that is creating these entities? And it's kind of like this plus minus thing where one gives and one takes, because the Black Winter basically shows you, or I'm not gonna say it, but it's basically, it seems to be this threat that like kills, right?
Yeah.
Where the Phoenix Force is this threat that kind of, instead of sucking power, it gives power to someone.
Yeah.
So
damn, that's a good.
You know, that's kind of what I took from it the second time. You know, maybe again I'm overthinking it, but you know, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
It does. I mean, wow. I gotta kind of sit with that for a while.
Yeah, I know exactly. I don't like get like marinated in that. Just like kind of think about that. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, dude. Again, and it's all about building into those major, you know, arcs and big events that Marvel loves doing in DC and major stuff.
Yeah,
that's the Clash of Titans type of thing. And if you're looking at a positive and a Black Force and there's a Fire Force, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's going to be an interesting.
Maybe
either mix or, you know, birthing.
Who knows?
Or,
they do that stuff in comics all the time. You have like the Star Wars. You have
monitor
the
and
light
anti-monitor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's
Star Wars has the the dark side and all that. And
yeah.
I don't know.
That I mean, you might have stumbled upon $1 million idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows? You know, maybe they already thought of it and they're building up to that. But you know,
I mean, speaking of Galactus, when you get Galactus, you almost always get heralds of Galactus.
Yes,
and that's where the scene of this issue shifts. We see a little bit of Volstagg looking at the tree of Yggdrasil, and Yggdrasil is rotting. It's beginning to decay, which is an underlying thing that happens throughout this whole arc. It's never really called out like on a big grand scale, but it'll come into play later. Thor has a meeting of all the known heralds of Galactus, and our boy the Silver Surfer shows up. Well, more accurately, the Black Surfer. Which I didn't go back. So it kind of it tells us where to go look and find out why Norrin Rad he's black now. He's
called like the
silver.
Obsidian Surfer or something, or it's something with Obsidian. Yeah.
So it's you can go back and look at Silver Surfer Black, an issue that came out around this time.
5 issues.
It's limited series.
It was a limited series. I hate to be comic book guy, but yeah, I think it was 5 issues.
Yeah, 5 issues.
Wait, with comic book guy, you gotta do the voice. Like, well, actually,
if you paid attention, a year prior to this, issue 5 came out.
Norrin, he explains what the Black Winter is. So maybe like between the three of us, we can explain to our best ability what the Black Winter is.
I'm sticking to my theory. It's the dark side to the light side. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. He's like the Star Plague, the Blightstorm, the Rot Blizzard. Many names, but one truth. It is the one true end. The Black Winter.
Yeah. Let me just say some dope band names if they ever were.
Yeah, right.
Like, dude, the Rot Blizzard, that'd be a sick fucking band.
Blizzard.
Blightstorm, like, dude, yes.
Yeah, it sounds like some epic power metal.
Yes.
Donny put his thesaurus to work on this issue.
Yeah. Straight up. Oh, and the Surfer kind of explains that. He's like, you know what? The only thing that could stop this is Galactus. And as the previous Herald and the longest Herald, I feel, he's like, I hid certain worlds away from him because it would give him too much power. He'd be way too strong with them. But now he needs them. He must feed because he's our only chance to fight back against this Black Winter. And he unveils like these 5 planets that they need to travel to feed Galactus. And everyone is just like, what, Galactus with even more power? Like, why would we ever do this? And the Herald, Silver Surfer is just like, no, I'm gonna do it. And Thor's like, but you won't do it alone. And that's when we get the reflective moment where Thor really looks at his, like what we were saying at the beginning of this issue, that decision between, king and warrior or God, it's something he hasn't figured out yet. And he's gonna lead the army as a king, to just be able to have an excuse to battle, honestly.
There's so many epic parts of this first issue, and I've realized we've spent so much time on this first issue because it sets the ground level for everything.
Yeah, no, it's hard to like not pick apart every scene because it's just so great and easy to digest too. Like it's
this issue in and of itself is not a Tolkien epic. It just introduces a lot of things that are really key later on in the story.
Yeah.
So Thor goes out to basically do counsel with Galactus, and Galactus explains a little bit more that it was the thing that ended his reality.
Yes.
Because before the Big Bang, for those of you who maybe don't know about Galactus, kind of a 3,000 foot view of it, Galactus is the only remaining being from the previous universe and pre-Big Bang. But Donnie does an awesome thing here. Well, what caused that universe to end? It's the Black Winter. The Black Winter caused Galactus's reality to die.
Yeah.
So Galactus explains this to him that, and affirms Nor Rad's thing that, he's the only one that can go and do this. But he's going to need Thor to take on some new power. So Thor, the last page of this first issue, Thor gets a new title. He's not only the All-Father, he's not only the King of Asgard, he is now the Herald of Galactus, the Herald of Thunder.
So
yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, let's
honestly,
break down that a little bit. I mean, it's...
Oh, dude. Yes. What's so epic about it is that you see Galactus missing a arm first off, like
that's completely
yeah, just a stub, and we get a flashback of what kind of Galactus looked like before all this, like his regular form in that one panel.
Dude, I found out like 2 years ago he was a fucking scientist. I feel like the biggest idiot never knowing that.
Oh wow!
I was like,
I didn't know that in general.
What?
Like
he was a scientist in his previous life.
I really only for it's sad. I love Galactus. He's one of my favorites, hands down. But like, I don't know a whole lot. I'm just very attracted to like his character and his being and power. But like, I only know the Earth X like type of origin where he was Reed Richards' son. It was Franklin Richard. But some weird, crazy, timey-wimey stuff went on, and it turned out to be Franklin under the helmet. And
interesting.
Yeah, Earth X has some crazy futuristic stuff that that's how I always think of Galactus still, because I was like my early.
Pretty sure he was a scientist.
I think so. No, I think you're right. Of this, I mean, the Earth X stuff. I think it's a different planet now at this point. Like it's another multiverse thing. But yeah, that was always something that fascinated me.
Oh, he was an explorer of planets. I guess that's a scientist still.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure he was like a scientist though.
But we also get this new costume, and this is writer. I think I was playing the Avengers game at the point when this came out, and I was just like, why the hell do we not have this costume as a DLC? And I just didn't want to play as Thor anymore because I love this new look for Thor. Like I love this costume. I just think it's the coolest thing, and it's so simple. Donnie's really good at getting things that are just so obvious. And like with Noel, perfect example. I mean, Venom didn't really have an origin. It's been 30 years. And here again, another thing to address with Galactus, great stuff. That's brilliant. That's thinking outside the box.
It's like right in our face too this whole time.
Yeah. It's like, with decades of comics that have been written. I mean, Galactus shows up in the 60s. Like he's not a new character.
He's like, I got my oversized Fantastic Four right there, my king size Kirby one. That's like one of my favorite things, like his whole entrance, and when he had the giant Kirby G on it for Galactus. It's so awesome. It's so cheesy.
It's so Silver Age.
Yeah.
It's such a superhero villain.
yes, exactly.
We just didn't know. Like, and it's so simple. It's like, oh well, Galactus devours planets, but where did he come from? Why is he the way he is? Like, what threat is so terrible and awe-inspiring that even Galactus fears it? So I mean, that's the first issue. We have waxed episodic on this first issue for a while. And listeners, a polite reminder here. This is accessible. This is a issue that if you go on Marvel Unlimited or go to your local comic book store, and if by some miracle they still have one of these first issues,
or
like,
the
pick
trade.
it up.
I know the trade's out too.
Yeah,
Pick up the trade, and then you don't have to worry about splitting it up into issues. This is so worth reading, and you will enjoy it. If you just like epic action, maybe you're not a superhero fan, but you like epic stuff, this is a great.
This is a run. Yeah, this is what you want to choose. It's also, in comparison to the Jason Aaron run, which I feel like we're gonna talk about it with you at some point on one of our shows now.
I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Perfect opportunity to read the book.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things, like, I feel like the first 6 issues of Jason Aaron's run, like, they're amazing, they're beautiful. I have no complaints, but in comparison to Donnie's, they wear you out a lot faster, and you're kind of drained at the end of like all of that, because it's just rich. It's like having rich chocolate cake versus just like a really nice like chocolate cake. You know what I mean? Like, there's that difference.
It's the difference. So I'll put it in, like, it's like having a really great piece of cheesecake and be like, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Jason Aaron's like, would you like to eat the whole thing right now?
Yeah.
Would you like the cheesecake, but also covered in maple syrup, and on top of that, like, ice cream on top of the cheesecake? And by the way, we're gonna throw whipped cream on there too.
Yeah.
And you have to eat it with a Fun Dip spoon.
Yeah. And
it's the greatest ever.
You're gonna have a blast. It sounds perfect, but you're just prepare yourself. You know what I mean? As you enter it. Yeah.
You may throw up later.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to do it for today's episode of Across the Bifrost. I want to thank the guys from Apollo City Comics for stopping by. Both Brandon and Brandon were awesome to have on the show, and you will get to hear more from them in the next few weeks as we continue to break down this awesome storyline from Donny Cates and Nick Klein, Thor, the Devourer King. It is going to be a great adventure, a great road to travel with these guys talking about the remaining issues in this arc. So be sure to tune in the next few weeks, and you will get the conclusion and our thoughts about this awesome storyline that we talked about at length. So we had to break it down into a few episodes. It was awesome, and I know you'll enjoy it. So before you get out of here today, before we shut it down and we hop off the Rainbow Bridge, be sure to go and rate, review, and subscribe the podcast wherever you are finding us, whether that's on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else in the 10 realms. You find us, go and do all those things there. That would be an awesome help to us, and it just lets us know that you're enjoying the show, you're enjoying the things that we are creating for you to consume. Like Galactus, he consumes planet, you consume content. That's why you're here. That's why we exist as a podcast, to just bring you more Thor content. Also, just want to say that we are hopefully going to be releasing a bonus episode this week relating to some of my thoughts on the Eternals movie and the first time that Thor met the Eternals. It was in Thor Annual number 7. So we're working on that. Hopefully we can get that up this week and you can consume that content later on this week. Until then, friends, thank you for joining us aboard the Rainbow Bridge today. I want to say, until we meet you again aboard the Bifrost, stay worthy.